Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crypto Trend Trader, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at Bitcoin. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. These markets are extremely volatile, so please trade at your own risk and don't risk more than you're willing to lose. Alright, so here we have Bitcoin on the 4-hour, and we're just going to start here with a naked chart real quick. And I just want to throw a couple fibs on here and basically just get the lowdown of what's going on here exactly. So we're going to take from the bottom here, and we're going to go to the top right there, and you'll see we have that one is going to be in green. And then next we're going to take from the top here to our low so far, and that one's going to go in orange. And then we're going to take from the bottom point that we put in right here to over here, and that one's going to go in blue. And then finally we're going to take one more from this last peak right here down to where we're at right now, and that one's going to go in white. Okay, so now that we have a bunch of just random lines all over the place, we're just going to see how these have been interacting. So what you'll see is there's a clear interaction here at this 382 of the orange one, so that was big. And you'll notice right before that we had topped out at the 618 point right here, and prior to that we had topped out at the 786. So you can see that's a very strong one, because when we were coming back down, obviously that put in our 0 point, but then we were consistently finding support around that 236 and resistance around the 236, and again that's the orange one. So now what's happening here is when we came down below the 236 this time, we couldn't make it past the 382, but we came to a higher low. So now if we can get a powerful move back up, I think our next target, if we can get through that 382, is going to be the 0.5, and that's going to put us at that 11.5 range. Okay, and there's a lot of confluence there with a bunch of different fib levels, so that's got some real potential. But what you'll see is we've already come up to the 0.5, so we've essentially retraced half of the move down. Now that's a typical reversal spot, so a lot of times what will happen is we'll dump down, retrace half the move, and then we'll continue on the move down. And we could either bottom out here at like the 786, come back down to the 886, or come all the way back down for a true double bottom, or again we could go down to the 0.5 like we had discussed in a previous video, which I think is our overall target, because you'll see we came down here, we pushed past the green 382, came back up above the 236, back down to the 382, and you see we just kept finding support on that 382, but we were never quite able to make it to the 0.5. And I think that's what we need to do to fulfill the algos, is get down to the 0.5, and then we can really see where this market's headed, if it's going to go up or down from here. And again, we are inside of this triangle. We've been inside this triangle. We'll probably stay inside this triangle for quite a bit longer now, and you can draw it a couple different ways however you want. I'm just going to do it real quick here just so we have an idea. Again, it's a sideways triangle with a downward slope to it, and that's on the top. So it essentially has like a buy wall on the bottom. As soon as price goes down low, it gets bought up every time. And then if price tries to go higher than this point right here, every time it goes less high, because more people are getting scared and unloading their positions. So then what we're going to do also is from this first point right here, and this is basically like the Wyckoff method of drawing this. So what you essentially do is where that first point comes down to, that puts in your first support on the bottom, and then where you go up to on the top, these are going to give you your resistance points on the top. And then when you come down to the second one, that's going to be your second support, and this forms the support zone right here. So now anytime we're in this zone, we're going to basically buy it up because we're in the support zone. And then if we break it, then is where we're going to look to potentially reverse the trade. And you'll see here on the top also that we essentially did like a spring. We tried to break out on the top and it got shut down. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to kind of give yourself a little bit of a downward sloping support zone like that. What I'm going to do is, so you can kind of get an idea as what's really going on, especially at a glance. You know, like, okay, anywhere inside the green and blue zone is a buy, anywhere inside the red and yellow zone is a sell, and anytime we can violate those in one direction or other, we're potentially looking for a strong, we're looking for a close, a confirmation, and then we're looking for a strong move after that. So essentially what we're looking for, we break through here to the upside, we get through, we come back, retest it, and then we get a big candle right afterwards, a powerful move, volume coming in. That's confirmation of a breakout, and then we'll take that trade. Same with on the bottom here. If we come down here and we break through this line, or even if we break through this line and we have strong volume coming in, it's potential that we're either going to, depending on what it looks like, the price action and everything at the time coming in, it's potential that we are going to break through this. But again, I would wait for confirmation outside of the support or outside of the resistance zone, respectively. And that's just the basic, most simple way to draw this. You can mess around and get all technical with it and move stuff around however you like, but this is essentially just putting your strong support, strong resistance, and then what's happening inside of here. And again, because we came down here and we test that bottom point, came up, came back down and bounced, once we put in this top point right here is when we drew this blue fib, and the blue fib came down here first time to the 786, bounced up to the 382 almost, came down to the 886, which is the absolute last chance for reversal other than double bottom. And then we got to bounce off of that, and you'll notice now this bounce took us to the exact same spot where this bounce failed at. So when we came down here, what we can expect to happen is we can expect to put in another newer low. And if we do that, like I said, there's nowhere left to go past the 886 other than a double bottom. So now what that's going to mean is, that's going to mean this is our main buy target right down here for a double bottom or almost a triple bottom. And if we can get a buy in there, we're going to ride it straight to the top. And everybody that follows us and knows what we've been doing knows this has been a sell zone right here. So basically, we've been selling through this area right there. And that's, when you're in a trending pattern like this, that's the best way to take your trades is. You want to take your longs from the bottom of the pattern, you want to take your shorts from the top of the pattern. So you want to be, once you have these resistance lines formed, once you have 2 points, you want to be getting your buys here at the bottom in this area, you want to be doing your sells here, and then what happens is the range slowly gets smaller and smaller and smaller because eventually people stop falling for the same trick. So there's less and less volume coming in, and then finally the books start getting thin and it can break in one direction or the other. But as long as we're trading in a range like this, and it could be a channel, it could be a triangle, whatever it is, there's no reason to assume that we're not going to continue trading into the range. This is a huge important thing that people need to realize too. So really listen to this. The most important thing is, as long as we're trading inside of a range, you should assume that we're going to continue trading inside that range until we don't. Because we can hit this top 100 times and it doesn't matter. We're only going to break it one time. So we're only going to get a confirmed real breakout of this pattern once, either to the upside or to the downside. In the meantime, every single other time is potential entry for a trade into that position. Every time. So it's never going to break until the one time it breaks, and then once it breaks, it's broken. So essentially we're going to trade that pattern like it's going to last forever until it breaks. And I don't mean to stress that enough. I don't like, lecture or whatever, but that's just something I wish people would have really told me earlier. Because instead of anticipating every time, oh, we're about to get the breakout, you just automatically sell it. You take the sell, and then come on down here, and then you take the buy down here again. And then one time, eventually, you're going to get stopped out. Maybe one random time along the way on a fake out or something like this. But one time, you're going to get stopped out on the breakout in the direction. And you're probably already going to be in a good trade because now we're in a short from this area. If it comes down here and breaks, we're already in a short from an amazing position. If we're in a long from this area and then it breaks to the upside, couldn't have a better long position than that. So there you have it, guys. I'm Crypto Trend Trader taking a quick look at Bitcoin. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I do appreciate you coming back and checking out the channel. Come back and see us again tomorrow for some fresh content. We also put out a couple new videos on the indicator series. So if you have any questions on anything, you'd like something like particular or specific coin or anything covered, just let me know. I'd be glad to do that for you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Crypto Trend Trader, signing off.